Hi, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day so far. If you don't know me, this is MTG, Emissary of Deals, here on YouTube, Instagram, Discord, TCG Player, you name it. We do it all. Um, Basically, I'm showcasing a lot of tips. Anything they could do with Magic topics, good deals, shipping, starting a store, running a TCG Player account, buying collections, where to find deals, anything you name it. So one big thing I want to share today is say like a lot of the market trends, what's going on. So for a while here, we've had kind of stagnant. So we had that huge spike in February, right? And then it kind of tapered all off and it kind of went flat. So now we're sitting here flat. But the thing is with the market, a lot of cards are selling at the prices they're at. The price just isn't going up or down anymore. So it's kind of good, kind of bad. I'm enjoying it so far because prices aren't moving up or down, so I can just steadily buy and sell, not having any issues about the market changing. Another thing, though, is, let's say where you want to buy cards. So a lot of you probably buy from TCG Player, Card Kingdom, your LGS, something like that. Highly recommend supporting your LGS. Nothing wrong with that. But another thing is, for singles, you've probably never thought about this, but there's a huge market in Europe. Yeah, you heard me, in Europe. You're here in the US probably watching this going, well, how am I going to buy from Europe? So there's two sites in Europe. One of them is called Card Market, and the other is called Card Trader. Both of them you can purchase cards from, and a lot of modern staples, EDH staples, standard cards, stuff like that, they're a lot cheaper over there. So you're probably going, well, if cards are cheaper over there, why am I buying them here in the US? So a couple downsides. One, on Card Market, they do not ship to the US. So you have to have a forwarder or a person in Europe to ship to you from them when they receive. Then you have Card Trader, which they do ship to you. The only thing is you have to pay $40 per shipment from them. But the good news is you can stack your shipments to where any cards you order, they sit in a warehouse until you want them to be shipped to you. And it still costs the same $40, whether it's 5 cards, 10 cards, or 100 cards. So you can get a whole stack for really cheap shipping for international from usually ships from Italy. And it's UPS, takes 3 days. It's really good service, honestly. I definitely recommend it. Another thing is maybe you're thinking, well, I want to sell cards. So not just buy, but how do I sell? So maybe you start a TCG Player account and you're trying to level it up and sell cards and trying to figure out how to ship them and all that stuff. So one, you're going to want to be the cheapest when you start off because nobody's going to want to buy from you if you're a nobody, right? You got no reputation. So you got to build your reviews and all that good stuff. Another thing is you're going to want to, for shipping, you're probably thinking, well, man, I'm spending so much, or man, I got to go to the post office and get tracking on this. So let me stop you right there. One, you can buy bubble mailers on Amazon.com for 100 and something. You can get 1,000 pack of them, right? You go to the post office, they cost $1.89 a piece. Yes, do the math. I know. That just saved you a ton of money. Stamps, you're still going to have to buy them at the post office. There's no easy way to get around that. Tracking, though, so say you're usually going to the post office and they charge you $4.50 for tracking on a little bubble mailer. I can get it online on PayPal for around $3.50, saving you about $1, which is 20 to 30%, give or take. So you can go to PayPal and sign up for a PayPal. Basically, it's a shipping label account, and it doesn't cost any money to have the account. You just set it up, hook it up with a bank account, credit card, whatever, and you can print your own labels from your house, cut them out, you put them on the bubble mailer, just tape it up, and bam, you're ready to go. Another thing is maybe you're thinking of, man, I don't want to write all the envelopes. You're sitting there writing all of them. You're like, oh, this sucks. Well, we can stop that too. You can get these little, let me see, I have one right here. You can get these right here. basically, it's just like a little sticky. You just pull it off of here, and you just stick it right on the envelope. So now, you don't have to print any, write your own return address. You just stick them right on there, done. All you do is you're going to put the TCG player, their address for the buyer, and you're going to write that on there. And you probably think, well, man, I still got to write those. But wait. What you do, you take one of these envelopes, right? You take their address with the fulfillment, and I'm not going to show their address. Mine's the business address, post office box, it's fine. But for this, you're going to take the sheet, you're going to fold it up, and you're going to put their address right here. So your address is going to go here at the top. Theirs is going to go in the little box. And then you're just going to take it, seal it up with the card inside, put a nice little piece of tape on there. Bam, ready to go. You didn't have to write any addresses at all. Not yours, not theirs. And you got the postage from off online. Because, or if it's, just with a stamp, you're just going to put a stamp on it, you're done. But if it's an envelope or a bubble mailer, either way, you can do it from your house, no problem. Another thing is, maybe you're wondering, what about like top loaders? Or how do I ship the cards in, right? To keep them safe. A lot of people use cardboard, they use some sketchy stuff from their kitchen, saran wrap, like all that crap. No. Easiest way, get a pack of top loaders. I got some right here. Basically, you're just going to take a top loader, just one of these. You're going to take the card. Let me just find a little example here. You're just going to slide it in there, just like that. Make sure it's nice and in there, no problem, in the sleeve. You're going to take a little piece of tape, just make sure it's sealed. And it's nice if you put a little pull tab on it so that you can just pull the tape off. You don't have to cut it or anything like that. And then also, biggest thing when it comes to the shipping supplies and stuff like that, just buy in bulk. Don't go to Walmart, don't go to the post office and buy like one of or five. Go to like Amazon or somewhere online and buy like 500 or something like that. Assuming you're trying to, run a little bit of a business or a side gig, whatever you want to call it. So now you're probably thinking, okay, so I found a couple places to buy singles, found places to sell cards, figured out a little bit of how to sell. And now you're going, well, what about if I want to really get in this, right? And I want to have a lot of cards to sell. So for picking up collections, one thing you can do is Facebook. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. If you haven't, Facebook has tons of people looking to sell their collections. A lot of times you can pick up collections on there. You can find some good deals. Number one thing, always use TCG player low. Never use market price and never use listed median. Okay, that would be your biggest mistake is if you try to use those prices. So if you're using those right now, please stop because you're using it's not going to work. If you try to buy cards at market price and say you try to buy them for 20 or 30% off of market, well, guess what? TCG player fees are 15% as a low price. Plus, if you value your time at anything, you just lost money. So please use TCG player low. Cannot stress that enough. I personally recommend paying in between 65, 75%, assuming it's, good cards. Now, cheap crap and whatnot, you can decide on your own. But, high-end stuff or stuff that sells, you're going to want to pay a good amount because it's competitive market, You can't just pay bottom of the barrel. You're never going to buy any product. Another thing let's talk about is maybe specs. Say you're wanting to buy dual lands and you just want to throw them in your binder and watch them go up in price, right? I'm definitely in favor of reserve lists as a whole, but there's definitely certain cards. Dual lands, I highly recommend them. They're going to stay going up overall compared to penny stocks. So don't go buying, that $5 reserve list card because you're oh, it's $5 instead of $500. Yeah, well, guess what? It's going to go back to 10 cents and nobody's even going to buy it from you for the $5. Whereas a dual land, somebody wants it. Another thing is, how do you store your cards? So I basically have all my inventory cataloged now in alphabet. It's all alphabetized. So I take all the cards, anytime I list them, I sit there, sort them all out, put them in the right spot. I have these nice little sorting trays that make it very easy to store your cards. Not the easiest for moving, but I try not to move my inventory. Another thing is when it comes to grading, and this is mainly just for if you're selling, because if you're buying, you probably don't care about the grade unless you're trying to resell it. If it's for personal use, it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to resell a card, grades matter a ton. People will complain. I promise you, you will never hear enough that you gotta grade strict. Because look, that one guy gets his card, he writes you that bad review, now you're sitting there going, ugh, this guy, don't want to deal with this. Basically, make sure you take a card. Like, let's get a good example here. So we have this. Looks pretty good, right? But if we take the back of it and you go to look right here, you can probably see those surface scratches and wear. And so basically, you're probably looking at it going, oh, it looks pretty good, right? Yeah, I mean, from far, looks like a nice card. But when you're looking at it close, now you're sitting there going, that card is not Neomint, it's not LP, it's probably MP, and some people like me might put it as HP. You gotta keep that stuff, like, keeping the customers happy is number one thing. So when selling, make sure that you grade strict enough that if you received it in that grade, you'd be like, oh, this is perfect. I'm super happy, love it, and I couldn't be happier. But if you're going to receive the card and go, oh, man, why is this all dinged up? Or that doesn't look right. Then don't sell it like that. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, price is one thing. Like, you can have high prices, but if you got good products that you stand by and you support people, then they're going to support you back. Another thing let's talk about is, like, say for your personal collection, you're trying to figure out what cards to keep, what cards to sell. One thing that's super easy is the TCG Player app. If you just want to scan cards, right? You basically download the app, you go in the settings, you set the price to TCG Player Low, you take a white piece of paper, set it down on your table, and you take your stack of cards. It's easiest if you take the sleeves off. Definitely recommend sleeveless cards. You just set it on the piece of paper, hold your phone over it, scan it, bam, move on to the next one. Sit there and scan all your cards, and then you can do a little sort of high to low. It'll show you the expensive at the top and all the way down. That'll basically give you an idea of what your cards are worth, approximately at market value. So that alone is super handy for a lot of people, because most people don't know the cards are worth something, actually. Like, if you're just a player out there and you're probably like, oh yeah, I got like 5 decks or 10 decks, or yeah, I play Commander and I have a couple decks, or I play Modern and I have like casual EDH deck. Well, you might not know that like dumb cards are sitting at, $5, $10, $20 just because they're staples. It really will be in your interest to know what your cards are worth, especially when you go to sell them. Because, like, say you don't think they're worth much, but you go sell them and it's worth like 5 times what you thought. You're like, oh, well, this is great because I didn't think it was worth anything. Now I'm making money, right? Let's see. What else we got? Basically, if you got any questions, just send me a message, drop a comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Instagram, send me a message, drop a comment. Basically, I'm just here to help. If you got any questions, let me know. I'll help the best I can. If you're trying to start a little business like I got going, if you're trying to flip cards, if you're just trying to sell your personal collection, maybe you're trying to buy cards for decks, anything you're trying to do, I got you. I'll help the best I can. And I'm always buying and selling, so if you're just trying to get rid of your collection, or if you're looking for cards, hit me up. Always doing it. It doesn't matter what does, but if it involves Magic, you best believe it, I'm going to be participating. So I appreciate you watching this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. And I appreciate you all. This is MTG Emissary. I'll catch you later. Have a nice day.